Greetings, brothers and sisters. Can you hear me all right? Okay, that sounds good. All right. Okay, greetings, brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, mothers, fathers, parents. Welcome to this new YouTube series titled The Parenting You Inherited. If you're new here, my name is Devin. Greetings, Sister Olette. Loud and clear, right? Very good. If you're new here, my name is Devin. I help parents go from reactive parenting to proactive parenting, and awareness is the first step. Awareness is the first step to solving any problem. How can you solve a problem that you're not aware of? So you can't solve a problem that you're not aware of. So today, this whole presentation, this whole discussion tonight is about awareness and getting to the root cause. So I got some slides, I got a plan, and I got my notes over here on the left side. I'm not a robot. I cannot remember all of this stuff. So I got my notes over here. If you see me over here, that's what I'm doing. I got notes. And I got a checklist. I've been using a checklist lately, and it's been very, very helpful. If you don't use a checklist, I highly recommend it. Now, so we talk about problem solving and the root cause. If your car won't start and you're not aware of why it won't start, you're not aware of the root cause, then how can you solve the problem? You can't solve the problem. It's the same thing with parenting. If you don't understand the root cause of your problems, like I put a poll up here, and I asked people, do you ever feel like a bad parent? And everybody that voted, they said all the time. If you feel like a bad parent, is that a problem? Is that a positive thing, or is that a negative thing? That's a negative thing. So that's a problem. So we want to solve problems. So yes, how do you become aware of anything? You become aware by being curious and asking questions. It's multiple ways to become aware of something. Somebody can present it to you like I'm doing right now. You can have some negative result of the problem, which makes you aware of it. Or you can also ask questions. So tonight, I'm going to be asking a lot of questions. And it's good to ask questions because questions make you think. And it's good to think, so it's good to ask questions. So we're going to be asking some questions tonight. And when I ask these questions, don't feel like you got to answer the questions or, put them in the chat. Just notice what comes up as I ask these questions. So my first question to you is, why did you come here? Why did you click on this video? Why are you here? What made you click on this video? To reflect. Okay, reflection is good. The title says, The Parenting You Inherited. How do you feel about the parenting that you inherited? What patterns did you inherit from your parents? How has your childhood affected your adulthood? Think about that. Did your parents have a plan for you? Okay. So I said, did your parents have a plan for you? How has that been working out? What is your plan for your parenting journey? Are you living in alignment with the life you thought you would live? Did your life play out the way you thought it would? Do you feel like your life right now reflects who you really are? Does your external world align with your internal world? Do you have a plan for your kids? How do you know that your plan is a good plan? If your kids are still young, You won't know if it was a good plan until later on down the road. I've noticed a pattern that many people go through life without a plan. And when they do have a plan, a lot of times that plan is based on emotions and not awareness. Tonight we're going to talk about awareness. We're going to talk about patterns. Because once you notice the pattern, it's predictable and you can interrupt the pattern. You can break the pattern. You've seen the intro video. You've seen the message at the end that says you didn't start the cycle, but you can break it. And it starts with awareness. If you're not even aware that there is a cycle, how are you going to break it? If you're not aware that there is a pattern, how are you going to interrupt it? What is your current approach to parenting? Is it trial and error? What is a trial? What is an error? If you go throughout decision making through trial and error, is there collateral damage? A trial is a test. An error is a negative result of the test. When parents approach parenting from trial and error, who pays the price of the error? These are the things that I think about that I don't think. I'm very observant, and I observe that many people don't slow down enough to ask questions, and how can you blame them? When life is so demanding, you don't have time. A lot of people don't have time to slow down and ask questions like this. A lot of people don't have time to reflect. And so that's why I want to have this live stream, to take the time to reflect. I don't want to know up front. Don't come here. Okay, yeah. So yeah, I want you to know up front. I didn't come here to blame nobody. You're not a bad parent. You just inherited patterns, whether you recognize it or not. So today we want to call those patterns out and become aware so we can interrupt the pattern. Okay, so let me get into my first slide. Boom. The intro. Can y'all see that? I agree. Both of them pay the price. But we can learn from history, and that's the plan tonight. So, you see the title, The Parenting You Inherited, Understanding Your Past so you can rewrite your child's future. Now, notice this word rewrite is connected to the future. How can you rewrite the future if the future hasn't happened yet? The pattern, the future has already, how can you rewrite the future if the future hasn't happened yet? The future has already been written because the patterns are already set in motion. An object in motion will continue in motion until it's been interrupted. Life cycles will continue until you become aware and you break it. So how do you rewrite the future? You rewrite the future by breaking the patterns of the past. And that's why episode 1 is about the silent generation, how their struggles shaped all of us. All the way back from the 1920s and the Great Depression, all the way up until now. Some patterns, there were patterns that were established back then that are affecting us right now today. So that's what we're going to get into. I'm checking them off as I go. It's already been written. The patterns are already in motion. This is the beginning. Yes, this is the beginning of a beautiful journey. This is so this is episode 1. I plan to have 4. This is going to be a 4-part series. I might throw a bonus in there later, but for now it's going to be a 4-part series. This is the beginning of a beautiful journey, and I'm glad to have you with me. And I think it will be beneficial. Everybody can benefit from this. All right, so let's get into it. I got 14 slides, and slide number 9 is my favorite because we really break down the fractal nature of it all, the patterns of it all. So let me see. Let me get to my next slide. Boom, there it is. Can you see that? Now I got mad screens over here. So. Parents and pull up in this new seeds. Amen. Okay, so let's get into slides. So this is my second slide. Have you ever wondered why you parent the way you do, and why some things feel harder than they should? The answers didn't start with you; they started long before you were born. Now, guys, I'm gonna take me a little sip. I learned to not be so uptight and try to script these videos, and this is a hangout. We hanging out. So let me get to my next. Yes. Okay, the silent generation, born between the years of 1928 and 1945. Right now, these people are between the ages of 80 and 97. They're in their late 80s, late 90s. As a photographer, I've shot quite a few events, some 90-year-old birthday parties. And some of these people are still kicking, and just to think about everything that they endured over the course of their life, well, we're gonna get into that. That's what this is. So now, I'm not gonna read all of this stuff. I made the slides available. If you want to get access to the slides after the stream, don't log off the stream to go get the slides. Get the slides after the stream, because I'm going to go through the slides with you right now, so you don't have to get them. And if you're on your phone, turn your phone sideways so you can see the full screen and get the full experience. But yeah, so you can go to slides.devintrent.com after the stream, and you can download the slides. All right, so the silent generation. This generation is shaped by scarcity, discipline, and duty. And down here at the bottom, I says their emotional survival strategy was emotional suppression. Now think about that, emotional suppression. Do you think that's a problem to suppress your emotions? To suppress your emotions is to act like they're not there, but they are there. Your emotions are not imaginary. Your emotions are real. Your emotions are true. And when you suppress the truth, is that positive or is that negative? When you ignore the truth, there are repercussions for ignoring the truth. And there are repercussions for ignoring your feelings, your emotions. This was the environment that shaped the patterns. This was the environment that shaped the parents who shaped the baby boomers. Okay, so what environment shaped the silent generation? What environment did they grow up in? Well, let's get into that. Boom. Now I'm gonna come off screen. I'm gonna give it to you full screen, so you can get the full experience. I'm just going to narrate in the background. All right. So this is Mr. Bernard. Imagine Mr. Bernard from the 1920s. He was born in the silent generation, a time when life didn't ask how you felt. Life asked whether you could survive. Food wasn't guaranteed. Safety wasn't guaranteed. Certainty wasn't guaranteed. So children learn early. Stay quiet. Don't complain. Don't need too much. Don't feel too deeply. Because in a world shaped by survival, emotions were a luxury. Imagine that. Emotions are a luxury. And this matters because the way you survive in childhood becomes the way you raise your children later. Okay, now this is Mr. Bernard. This is his childhood. Survival. They're not talking about no emotional intelligence. They're trying to live. Okay, now as he grows up, Mr. Bernard grew up. He worked hard. He built stability. He did what needed to be done. He didn't talk much about emotions, not because he didn't care, but because caring had always looked like providing food on the table, roof over your head, structure, discipline. It wasn't cruelty, it was love expressed through survival. They might not give you no hugs and kisses and read your bedtime story, but they make sure you got food and water and a roof over your head. That's love. Many of today's parents were raised by people like Mr. Bernard. Parents who loved deeply, but didn't always know how to express those feelings with words. If you grew up hearing things like, "You're fine," "Stop crying," "Be strong," "Shake it off," that wasn't random. That was survival echoing forward. I'm a millennial. I'm 37. My parents was telling me stuff like that. My parents are still being affected by the environment that shaped the silent generation. Their patterns have echoed all throughout time, even up until now. So in present day, today's parents are raising children in a completely different world, a world that asks for emotional awareness, regulation, and communication. And many parents feel stuck in the middle. You want to be calm, you want to be patient, you want to do better, but in the heat of the moment, your body reacts before your mind catches up. That doesn't mean you're broken. It means your nervous system learned survival before it learned connection. And that was never your fault. When parents struggle today, it's not because they're failing, it's because they're parenting children with higher emotional needs. You're using tools built from a survival environment. That's the mismatch. See, the kids today, they're not worried about survival. They're not worried about where their next meal is coming from. They have the luxury to talk about emotions and feelings. So there's a mismatch because the parents, they're not used to emotions and feelings. The grandparents that raised the parents and the parents that had the children today, this is like the first time when we can really talk about emotions and it's okay. So yeah, you're not crazy and you're not alone, and this didn't come out of nowhere. If you ever felt like you was a bad parent, it's not your fault. It was a pattern that you inherited. The good news is this: survival patterns can be honored without being repeated. Awareness is the bridge. When you understand where you came from, you gain the power to choose differently. Not perfectly, not overnight, but intentionally. Mr. Bernard survived so the next generation could feel safe. Your work is to help your child feel understood. That's not a failure of the past, that's evolution, as it should be. Each generation should get better with time. We should pick up where the last ones left off and make progress forward. Now slide 7. I told you slide 9 is my favorite slide. This is the emotional impact on baby boomers. The silent generation parents raised baby boomers with structure, discipline, and high expectations, which gave them a strong sense of responsibility and stability. But the emotional restraint, the strict obedience, and the seen and not heard. You ever heard that? You ever hear the grown-ups say, children ought to be seen, not heard? Well, this is where they came from. This came from the survival. This came from the silent generation. I remember as a kid, back in the 90s, my parents said that to me. This phrase is still being echoed up until today. Children are to be seen, not heard. This mentality left boomers craving warmth, validation, and open communication. This emotional gap created the baby boomers, lifelong desire to give their children more opportunity, more of a voice, and more freedom. And that desire shaped Generation X. Every generation parents in response to the generation before. Boomers tried to give their kids the emotional freedom that they never got, but without a map. This often created inconsistency. Sometimes they're being strict, sometimes they're being lenient. So yes. Now what does this look like today? I think I just hit my camera too. What does this look like today? When your child cries and you feel the instinct to shut down, can you relate to any of this? Let me bring my, Yeah, we back in action. Okay. Can you relate to any of this? When your child cries, do you feel like shutting down? When your child questions you, do you feel like they're being disrespectful? When your child needs comfort, do you feel uncomfortable giving your kids hugs and kisses and reading them bedtime stories and telling them I love you? Is that uncomfortable? None of these reactions make you a bad parent. They make you an inherited parent. Right? It's not your fault. So you don't have to go around beating yourself up, feeling like you're a bad parent, because now you have become aware of the root cause. Now this is where we're gonna pause. I'm gonna look at the poll. Have you ever felt like a bad parent? Yeah, most people said all the time. Somebody said sometimes. Okay, that's not good to feel like a bad parent. So yeah, this is the time to regroup. Any questions? Any insights? Is this helpful so far? Are you learning anything so far? Give insight into how am I parents were raised. Amen. You may not be a parent yet, right? But this is about proactive parenting. To be proactive is to take action. Pro is, was that a prefix? Before, to take action before. So yeah, being a proactive parent. Before you even have kids, have a plan. A lot of times people, and see, I don't want nobody to feel like I'm shaming you, but it's just a reality of life. Let's get back to the slides, because I know I can go off on a tangent. Okay. Here it is, slide number 9, a fractal pattern. Okay, I'm gonna end the poll for now. A fractal pattern. What is a fractal? A fractal pattern is a pattern that when the macro looks the same as the micro. So let's take Maslow's hierarchy of needs. I've never seen nobody expand on this idea of needs and expand it over a fractal pattern. So I'm coining it Devin's fractal parenting pyramids. So let's start with you in the middle. And then we got all of humanity. Today we're talking about the silent generation. Generations pass down their emotional, unfinished business. Let's read the stuff on the side. Humanity climbs the pyramid across generations. You climb it across your lifetime, and your child climbs it in real time. All three follow the same emotional pattern: survival, safety, and identity. Okay, so let's start with physical needs. You parent from the level where you got, okay, so physical needs. If you don't have all your physical needs met, do you think that would affect your behavior? Let's take it from the kids. If your kids are they hungry? Are they tired or hungry? If your kids are tired or hungry, do you think that's going to affect their behavior? Would they be on their best behavior if they tired and hungry? Would you be on your best behavior if you was tired and hungry? Silent generation. They was tired and hungry. They grew up. They was born in a time of famine and an economic decline and the Great Depression. You seen the kid picture of Mr. Bernard? Poverty. They didn't have their basic needs met. You see what I'm saying? It's a fractal pattern. Okay, once you have your physical needs met, you got food and water. The next thing is safety. You need shelter. You need shelter from the elements. You need shelter from predators. If you don't have your safety needs met, are you going to be on your best behavior? Are you going to be your best self? When your kids, when they don't have their emotional needs met, when they don't feel safe, do you think they're going to be on their best behavior? You see, if you don't have your physical needs met, you see the green, if you don't have your physical needs met, if you don't have your safety needs met, you're not going to be in your best behavior. Social needs. Okay, when you got your safety needs met, now you got social needs, because we humans are social creatures. That's why when you go to jail, the worst penalty is solitary confinement, where they throw you in a hole by yourself. That's torture. Okay, let's take it to the kids. Do they feel like a member? Do your kids feel like a member of the family, or do they feel like an outcast? Do they feel like the black sheep? If they don't have their social needs met, do you think they're going to be on their best behavior? When you don't have your social needs met, are you on your best behavior? Do you ever go into depression when and isolate yourself in the house because you don't have no friends and you don't have no social life? Some people go to convocation and just stay in the room. How healthy is that for your mental health? How healthy is that for your state of mind? Okay, let's take it up to the next level. Do you help them feel capable? Their self-esteem. Once you have your social needs met, the next ladder up is self-esteem. They want to feel good about themselves. They want to feel like they contributing. Do you help your kids feel capable? Do you boost up their self-esteem? If you're not boosting up their self-esteem, do you think they're going to be in their best behavior? If they tired and hungry, they don't feel safe, they don't feel like a member of the family, you don't boost their self-esteem, do you think they're going to be on their best behavior? Would you be on your best behavior? Look at the generations of old. They didn't have these needs met. And that affected their behavior, and how that behavior affected how they raised their children. You see how the pattern persists? Okay, and at the top of the pyramid, your true self. Can you be your true self? Once you have all of your needs met, now you have the luxury of trying to fulfill your full potential. Do your kids feel like they can be themselves? Or do they have to wear a mask? Do they have to play a part to fit in? Okay, so we're going to talk about, as this series persists, we're going to talk about how these needs correlate to the different generations and how they parented their kids. I hope this is making sense. Once you understand where each person is on the pyramid, you can stop taking behavior personally and start parenting with clarity. When you see somebody acting up, now you might not feel so bad. Now you might not get so frustrated, because you understand where they're coming from. You understand that maybe they're hungry. Maybe they don't feel safe. Maybe they don't feel like a member of the group. Maybe they got low self-esteem because people are talking about them at home, at work, at church, friends and family. This affects a person's behavior. So when you see somebody doing something that's frustrating to you, you can question and say, well, hold on just a minute. Why are they acting like this? Instead of flying off the handle. All right. Patterns don't disappear, they echo. They show up in your reactions. They show up in your triggers. They show up in how safe or unsafe you felt as a child. And they show up now in how your child experiences you. What is this, slide 10? We got 4 more slides. What's my next slide? It's not your fault, it's a pattern. You learn someone else's survival strategy. You inherited emotional habits. It's not your identity. You're not failing, you're reliving their conditioning. And now that you see the pattern, you can break it. All right, so the people who, I put a poll in here that said, have you ever felt like you're a bad parent? Why? Let's finish the slides first. So that's it. That's it for this week. This week was about the silent generation. Next week we're going to go about over baby boomers, the generation raised by strong, not seen. Subscribe and turn on the bell notifications. so you don't miss out on the next live stream. And if this was eye-opening and you want some clarity tailored to your child, then join me on a live workshop. I should have put the date on here. It's January 10th. It's a Saturday. You can go save your seat at this URL, register.devintrent.com. It's also in the description down below to save your seat for the workshop. So yeah, remember, you didn't start the cycle, but you can end it. Now, I'm going to stick around for about 15, 20 minutes that's all my slides. I'm going to stick around for about 15 minutes to answer questions and engage in the chat. Yeah, so true. My daughter feels that way, and try to encourage her. You say your daughter feels that way and try to encourage her. Was this helpful? Is this helpful to see parenting through a different lens? Oh, matter of fact, I can, let me take this off. Okay. All right, so, yeah, Q&A. All right, so what is my vision for all of this? My vision is, one, to bring awareness to the problem and then take the steps to solving the problem. People say there's no guidebook to parenting. And because every child is different, you can't make a plan. You just have to figure it out as you go through trial and error. I don't agree with that. I think you can create a guidebook to parenting by learning from the experiences of others, especially if you're a young parent and you got young kids. You don't want to do trial and error because you're not going to know the result until later on. And later on, it's going to be too late to fix it. So you want to learn from other parents now. You want to get awareness now and understanding now so that you can prepare your kids now, because you can't prepare them later. Pre is before. You can't prepare them later. But yeah, with the right information, you can't protect them from everything, but you can prepare them for anything. And awareness, it all starts with awareness. So that's it for today. That's it for episode 1. Lord willing, we'll have episode 2 next Saturday. All about the baby boomers. All right. That's it. Thank you for your time. I hope you got some value out of that. And I'll catch you in the next one. Peace and good night. Oh, you know what? I was supposed to hit record on that. In the stream, 40 minutes. You're in. Oh, yeah, don't forget to download the slides. Slides.devintrent.com. End.